You are now tuned into Story Time Real with Val and Seal. It's Story Time Real with Val and Seal. It's Story Time Chill with Val and Seal. It's Story Time and Chill with Val and Seal.
Hi guys.
Hello.
Hi everybody. So we
Hello.
caught y'all. What has it been? 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks. I just want to shout out really quickly. Val has some amazing children, but Micah, her youngest child, made the basketball squad, y'all. So he's shooting hoops for his middle school, and so we haven't seen you in 2 weeks. We definitely wanted to support Micah and have him get started and show all his skills on the court. So we're back.
We're back. Thank you. We're back. Yeah.
Yes. So welcome again to Storytime Chill with Val and Seal. I'm one of your hosts, Miss Cecilia Seal Smith, and
I'm your other host, Valerie Johnson Reed.
yes. And tonight, we have a very amazing, wonderful, talented author, Miss Chelsea Elliott. And she's going to not only read her book, Natalie, the Monster Slayer, but also tell us about her publishing company, how to support her, and just the entire inspiration between her story. So let's go ahead and bring Miss Chelsea Elliott up now. Hey, Chelsea.
There she is.
Hi,
Hello.
ladies.
Welcome. Hello. Well, Chelsea, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So my name is Chelsea Elliott. I am a wife and a mother of two. Natalie is 4 and Olivia is 4 months old. And we love telling bedtime stories. So that's where, we got our books from. And I am a non-practicing social worker. And I've always have been very passionate about mental health. So that's where my stories came from. So we can talk a little bit about that later.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here. We're looking forward to you reading. Yeah. So without further delay, Chelsea Elliott, take it away.
All right. I am reading Natalie the Monster Slayer, written by Chelsea Elliott. Early one morning, as she was fast asleep, Natalie awoke to a scary gurgling sound coming from downstairs. Gurgle, gurgle, gurgle. She jumped out of bed. "What was that?" she said. Her heart was racing and her body began to quiver. She was terrified. She heard it again and jumped back under her covers. As she lay there gripping her blanket over her head, she was startled again by another frightening sound. Boom, boom, boom. Ah! What in the world was that? She gripped her blanket even tighter. She waited for a moment before getting out of bed. She could feel herself becoming anxious as she thought about what could be making the haunting sounds. Is it a fire-breathing dragon? Maybe it's a scary monster. What if it's a ferocious bear? Her curiosity grew and grew as she thought about where the sounds were coming from. The more she thought about it, the more determined she became to find out what they were and stop them. She mustered up the courage to stop hiding and fight. Her confidence soared as she ran around her room to find a makeshift cape, sword, and shield to prepare herself for what was coming. I wonder what these noises are. Again, she heard more noises closing in on her. She heard a loud stomp, stomp, stomp coming up the stairs. Then an even louder whoo, inching closer and closer to her room. Her body was trembling and became tense as she stood there with her sword and shield in hand in a ready-to-strike pose. As her door crept open, she repeated, "I can do it, I can do it, I am brave and strong," over and over to calm her nerves. She saw bright lights that looked like eyes hovering over the shaking floor, followed by what looked like a blue face. Once she saw what was at the door, her body relaxed as she let out a loud sigh of relief. Whew! I wonder what it is. Her mother walked in her room running the vacuum cleaner. She looked confused as Natalie dropped her sword and shield, smiled, and gave her the biggest hug. As her mom finished vacuuming her room, she ran down the stairs to find out what her dad was doing. He was washing dishes and running the garbage disposal. That's what the gurgling sound was that woke her up. She went to the laundry room and found that the banging sound was just the washing machine rumbling around with a full load of towels. She was filled with joy knowing that she had nothing to fear at all. She ran back to her room to grab her sword and shield. Natalie was ready to slay the vacuum cleaner dragon, the garbage disposal monster, and the washing machine bear, just for pretend. The end. And then in the back, there's a glossary of the terms that were used, so we can talk about that.
I love it, especially since, Phil and Val are educators, so that glossary just did something to my
Yes. I was like, yes.
Spirit.
We get an extra tingly feeling when we see that. Yes.
I love it. I love it.
Yes.
Yes. Well, I love that little puffs. That just, I don't know, just made me feel some type of way. I love it.
Oh,
Thank you. So what made you write Natalie the Monster Slayer?
So there's a whole backstory, so I'm not going to make this too long. Okay. But one year for Christmas, I created, my husband wrote a book when he was in 2nd grade. And so one year for Christmas, and it was a hardcover book, but it had all his illustrations in it. And it was really cute. And we would read it to our daughter. And it was a story about friendship, but it was like tearing up. So one year I was like, I'm going to make that his Christmas gift. Like I'm going to republish it for him. And it was August when I had this idea and I wanted it for Christmas. Crazy, right? So I scrambled, I cried, I fought the air. I was ready to just give it, like throw in the towel and be done with all of it. But I got it done and it did really well. He was super excited and it was a great story. And outside of his reaction, because I wanted to make him cry, that's my thing. I love making people cry. Well, him cry happy tears. Like, yes, I got it, And so outside of that reaction, so many people were like, I've been sitting on a story for umpteen years. Like I've been, I had this when my kids were young and they're 30 now. And so I decided I want to help people publish their books. And so then after that, I was like, well, I have to do my own, of course. Duh, you can't just publish everybody else's, not do yours. So I came up with this because like I said, we have a 4-year-old and I was pregnant at the time with our other daughter. And when my 4-year-old, when I found out I was pregnant with her, I vowed that I would always, if she knew nothing else in this world, she would know her emotions. She would know how she was feeling. She would know how to handle herself. She would know how to handle other people's emotions around her, but she would know herself. That was the one thing that I said. I don't care if she don't know how to read or write. She gonna know herself. So that's where the idea for this book came from. So this has 14 emotions throughout the story. It's about fear, which a lot of people shy away from, but you can still do things when you're scared. And that's the basis of the story. So now when she's afraid to do something, or if I say, oh my gosh, I'm so afraid to do it, she's like, oh, just be like Natalie the Monster Slayer. Just do it. Just do it. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, girl, you're for it. Get on my face. But okay, you're right.
But at least, like you said, she knows now what those emotions are, and she knows how to conquer that on her level.
Yes, she's very emotionally intelligent. She'll tell me if she's frustrated. One day I was like, oh, I know you're sad about that. She said, no, I'm not sad. I'm upset. And I said, oh, okay. And I tried not to smile because I'm super proud, but she's really legit upset.
Really upset.
But I'm like, yes, that's what I want. So this is going to be a series of 7 books. I finished writing number 2 yesterday. So
Okay.
And then I have another surprise for
Congrats.
people that's coming with the book. So I'm really excited about it. But that's my whole, like, I didn't want to become a clinical social worker, but I still wanted to have an impact on children and families. And so that's what the idea for the glossary came from. And I want to extend the conversation. So that's my contribution to the social work world.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Congrats on
Thank
finishing
you.
book number 2 of the series, because I mean, Val and I talk about it all the time.
Mhm.
Writing is the hardest part, especially when you're managing different roles within your life. It's getting it done. And so just congratulations simply for getting it done. And so that means we'll see you 6 more times. You have a 7 series. Okay, so yeah, we're here for it.
That's right. We're here just for that. Yes, absolutely. Well, that segues, and that's perfect because that segues into my next question. And I know you have the social work background as well. Why do you feel that as children and adults, we should talk about the emotions? Give us a little bit about mental health with that. Because now in our society, we're hearing about it more and more. But at the same time, we also know that it's kind of taboo to talk about our emotions, our mental health. So talk a little bit about that.
Well, the most successful people in the world are emotionally intelligent. So you have to know yourself, what you're feeling, how you're feeling, and what that feels like in order for you to move throughout this world. So there are a lot of people who can't really function because, or they think they can't function because they haven't been taught how to identify what they're feeling. So I'm in therapy now. I am a huge advocate for therapy, even if you don't think you need it. Everybody needs it. And my therapist always does a check-in with me, and she's like, okay, well, how does that physically feel to you? Because you need to know how that physically feels, whatever it is, in order to know what's really going on with you. So emotions are something that I am so passionate about. Like that is it's everything to me. And I am determined to make sure that children are emotionally intelligent so they're not broken and then trying to be put back together. Like keep them intact the way they are as they grow up. So they're not having to be put back together again once they're adults. So that's, and I'm doing this all through children's books, right? But I'm doing it for the parents too. We started this journey with Daniel Tiger. It's a kid's show, right? But I'm learning from it. Like we sing the songs, we, practice that every day because it's important for everybody to know. And if you don't know it, you don't know it. It doesn't matter what level you're starting at. If you don't know it, you don't know it. So that's, we started that when she was very young, and that's where a lot of this came from, because I was like, this works. It's helpful for me and her. I know what being angry looks like and how to healthily be angry in front of her. And it's okay to feel whatever you're feeling. It's just not okay to behave however you want to behave. So having the words for it helps to work with those tantrums and helps to reduce that kind of stuff. Sorry, I'm so passionate about this topic.
No, that's perfect. This is what we do here. This is the kind of stuff we talk about. So you are right on point. So you don't have to apologize for that. So I'm so glad you said that.
It's so good. It was so. It's the reason I'm so passionate with you is because again, Val and I, you guys at home, Val and I, this is not just an on-camera relationship. We talk all the time, whether to each other or just evolving and growing with each other, and we always talk about how important it is to be so deeply rooted in who you are, okay, including emotions, so you can make the best decisions for yourself, things that are decisions that are going to be pleasing to God. So when Chelsea was talking about her relationship with her daughter, I was hearing what am I feeling and why am I feeling this way? So what am I feeling right now? Okay, anger, sadness, okay, resentment. Okay, what am I feeling and why am I feeling this way? And that's important to get to the root of it. And so, girl, we just we're 14 in, and it's like, okay, Val.
Well, I like this conversation. This is the kind of conversations that we always have. So this is perfect. Again, it's perfect. But my next question is, Chelsea, you were willing to take the chance, take the risk, and talk about mental health. Why do you think that there are so many parents, in general, people? Why do you feel we don't talk about mental health or we talk about emotions and feelings. Why do you think we've been taught or we have learned to hide how we feel? Well, let's talk about that a little bit.
Y'all want to do this all night, huh? Okay.
We can go.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it stems from shame. And, you know, I had a conversation. I'm on Clubhouse all the time because I'm addicted to it, girl. So I'm fun. Oh,
We are
I'm
too.
part of a group and we talk about this kind of stuff because it is so taboo to talk about it. But the more you talk about it, the more normalized it is because you're not the only
Yes.
one feeling that. Everybody's feeling that. But you want to have that picture perfect, you know, image, or you want people to think, oh, everything is great in their world and in their house and in their mind, but in reality it's not. We all have those moments. Your hormones are, you know, up and down, and you're when you're raising kids, you have to learn how to regulate your own emotions and teach somebody
Yes.
else how to do it. Oh my
That's
gosh,
right.
really? That's hard. That
It
is
is.
hard. And people don't show that part of marriage or raising kids or even just being a human. Like, we don't show that part.
That's
And
right.
it's not easy. I never shy away from a conversation. I suffered from depression and anxiety as a child and in my adult life. And when I was a kid, it was a taboo thing. So they thought I was just attention seeking. You know, I'm the kid that's standing in the corner, like maybe crying a little bit or just looking real sad all the time. I had depression. And it's a real thing for kids. You know, and a lot of people push off what kids are feeling. Oh, that's nothing. That's small. Whatever they're dealing with is big in their world. It doesn't matter what it is.
That's right.
If, you know, they
That's
rip
right.
through a piece of paper, that's their world right there. You can't say, oh, get over it. You're fine. It's just a piece of paper. No, that is something very important to them, enough to make them cry about it.
Yeah.
So
That's
you
right.
have to learn how to help them navigate those emotions. It's okay to cry. It's okay to feel sad about that. How are we gonna work through that and then move past it?
Right.
So
That's right.
I'd never shy away from an emotions conversation or a mental health conversation or whatever, because the more we talk about it, the more we normalize it, the more we make other people know, oh, I'm not crazy for feeling that way. I'm not a bad person for feeling that way. I'm not a bad parent for feeling that way. So that's why.
You're human.
Love it.
And even the fact that, like what Chelsea just said, it's not limited to a specific gender. Even boys have the right to feel how they feel.
Yeah.
Like, I tell them all the time, especially in our culture. You know, parents, don't be mad at me, but I have to speak the truth. You know, man up. They're two. You know, that boys have the right to feel sad as well. Boys have the right to feel upset. Boys are human. They're human beings. And what happens if you stop or prevent young boys from feeling, then we have these men that are emotionally unavailable or not emotionally intelligent when we're adults. And then now we're upset as why can't they communicate with me? Because they've been prevented from feeling anything.
Yeah.
Time. So Chelsea's saying some great things, but don't limit it to thinking about your young daughter. Think about just human beings in general.
Yeah.
I'm talking about all kids, all people, because we're all people. Like nobody can run away from it. We all have emotions, and they all mean something, and they all are okay. There's not good and bad. They just are. Some don't feel as comfortable as others. They just are. Like that's just what it is, and we have to normalize that, and we have to feel comfortable in that. And I know a lot of people, you know, you're talking about the cultural thing. A lot of people say, like, you know, I want to prepare them for the real world. And it's like, so the real world is bullying our kids, right? They're beating our kids up. They're trying to break them down. They're trying to tell them that they're nothing, that they're not good enough, that they're not enough. Why would you want to contribute to that? They need a safe space to go to. So we have to learn how to do that stuff ourselves in order to teach them how to do it. We have to know how to manage ourselves and our emotions and other people's, because a lot of those people are damaged themselves. So I'm not taking your word when you're trying to bully me. Like, I know you got something else going on. So I kind of pity you. I have sympathy for you right now. You know, you're not going to break me down like that. So having that knowledge is powerful. Because you can teach your kids how to really navigate the real world and how to survive and thrive and not just fight their way through life.
I feel some quotes coming. It needs to be quote by Chelsea.
That's right. Right on. It's on point. It's all on point. It's all very timeless, very significant. Thank you so much for sharing that. What message do you want? Well, you just pretty much said it, but what message do you want boys and girls to receive from the story Natalie the Monster Slayer?
So this story, there are the seven main emotions. This story is based around fear, and I want them to know that everybody has fear, no matter what they're doing. I was a little afraid to do this right now, but I'm here and I'm thoroughly enjoying myself. But you do things through the fear. You can have your emotions sitting there with you and like, hey, I recognize that you're there. We're gonna go on and do this.
Yeah.
So I want them to know that they're allowed to feel afraid and be brave at the same time. That's what the purpose of that book is.
Yes, 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 yes. Thank you so much for that. My next question for you is, why is reading important?
Oh goodness.
Why do you
Reading
feel
is
reading is important?
Yeah, reading is important because once you know how to read, you can educate yourself on anything. You can go anywhere, you can do anything, you could be anything. You could be everything once you know how to read. Like that's, there are no limits once you know how to read.
Mm-hmm.
That's I'm a strong proponent of reading. I know a lot of times kids, don't really. So what I do with my daughter now, instead of saying like, hey, do you want to read a book? She's like, no, I don't want to read a book. I'm like, you want to hear some stories? Yeah, I want to hear some stories. All right, let's do that. So that's my workaround with her maybe not wanting to read a book in that moment.
Yeah.
But just have, you can go on different adventures. You can, I don't know, just use your imagination in any way. Like my husband is amazing at making up stories with her. They do it all day long. And I think that is so magical because it's hard for me.
It is.
But, just going on different adventures and journeys and then learning how to read those words yourself so that you can write them yourself, I think it's powerful.
Absolutely.
Love it. Thank you so much. So one question for you is, who is or who was or who's your favorite authors right now, or who was your favorite author as a child?
This is a tough one for me. So there are books that I like, and it really just like I cannot read a book if I'm not in need of that knowledge right then and there, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
So I love Oprah stuff because everybody can use some, inspiration and motivation. Oh gosh. One of my favorite books is The Untethered Soul. I cannot even remember who that's by right now. I just looked it up today too. But like books like that and people who write stories like that, those are my favorites. I did love Michelle Obama's Becoming. That was, girl, that was good.
Okay.
That was good.
We're honorary family members of the Obamas. So they have to adopt us all. So
they're cousins.
That's right.
Cousins. No twice removed. We're still family.
That's right. That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Chelsea, out of all the art forms to do, why did you choose writing a book? Why didn't you make a documentary or a movie or a play? What made you choose literature?
So I never considered myself a writer, even though I have been writing since I was little. That was always my outlet. That was like, I had 500 journals. I was one of the girls that was, writing notes and folding them up real crazy and all that stuff. But I never considered myself a writer. I even had a blog at one point. And I just, I was like, oh, I'm not a writer. I'm not an author. I'm not. But that's always been my thing. That's been my release. That's, when I'm mad, that's the one thing that could get it out of me and help me heal and calm down. So writing is my saving grace. And I have notebooks everywhere all the time and I'm constantly writing. So that's why I think that's why I chose a book. And it's something, tangible that my daughter can have and that making a documentary is expensive. Self-publishing a book is not as expensive. So. Maybe one day. Thanks for that.
That's
idea.
right.
But, yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's perfect. I love it. And you are a writer. Anybody that has journals and we folded paper and we're writers. We're writers. Yeah.
That's one of my affirmations. I am an author. I am a writer. Like
you are an author.
Why would I not think that? So
yeah,
you are.
But it's again one of those.
One of your favorite quotes?
Oh, there as well. Hold on.
What's one of your favorite quotes?
One of my favorite quotes is, I'm trying to think how to phrase it. I
You can
have everything
paraphrase.
that I need, and I am, oh God, what is it? I have everything that I need. I'm doing what I can with what I have, and that's enough.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing what I can with what I have, and that is enough. Because this pandemic, having 2 kids, being stuck at home, working full time, building 2 businesses, writing, helping other people write their books and publish their books, it's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's exhausting, but it is all so fulfilling. I love every single bit of all of it, but it's a lot. And so
Mm-hmm.
some days I have to give my attention to some things more than others. And I just have to keep telling myself I am doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing in this moment, and whatever I'm doing is enough. So that's my quote.
Yes. Love it. Thank you so much for sharing that. What
Oh, and
advice
another quote.
would
I'm
you
sorry.
give?
One more.
Oh, go
Can I give
ahead.
you one more?
Go
One
ahead.
more that I
Yes.
use as like my tagline. Sorry. One more that I use as my tagline is change your mindset, change your world. So that kind of goes along with my books.
Yes.
Because if you
Perfect.
I do affirmations a lot because I feel like they do manifest things for you, and they
Mm-hmm.
bring some calm and peace to your life. And once you shift your mindset on what's going on around you, because you control what you have, you control where you are. And like when I'm anxious about something, I'm like, oh, why are you worried about that? That means you're not supposed to be doing that right now. So shifting my mindset has changed my world, because now I'm not as freaked out and as panicked as I used to be. I used to be in the hospital with ulcers because I was so anxious all the time. So shifting my mindset has really changed my entire world for the better. So that's my last one. Okay.
Oh no, that's
No,
all
it's perfect.
all good.
That's good. We need to hear all of that. And our listeners do too. Our
do.
viewers need to hear that too, because it's good stuff that we don't hear all the time, but when we hear it, it's right on time. So
Mhm.
yes,
It feeds the
thank you.
the spirit and the soul. And again, Val and I mean, my conversations sound like this all the time, and it's intentional, because that mindset shift. It's as if I'm in a season or a space, and I know Val can agree to this, where we're constantly reprogramming ourselves. Like, I'm telling the world and society, like, everything you taught me was a lie. Like, how you taught me to hate myself, taught me to break in, all of that was a lie. So I'm
Right.
how to talk positively to myself, how to reprogram and dump out all that toxic junk
Yes.
and all those labels, society tries to give you. So that mind, it drives everything.
Everything.
To pour the right things into your mind, the way you look at everything literally
Changes.
changes.
Yes.
It's like everything is still the same, but the way that you look and react to everything change. And it's that just that simple. It's
That's right.
challenging. It's a choice. You have to choose every day to show up and shift that mind and dump out that useless stuff. But it's just that simple as a change.
That's right.
So I love that quote. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Perfect. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
So my next question is, what advice would you give an inspiring author, whether it's a child or an adult? What advice would you give them about writing a book?
Do it. Don't let anybody tell you you can't do it. Don't let the process scare you. Don't let it intimidate you. One step at a time, do it. I think everybody has a story. And that's why I feel like God put me in this position to do what I'm doing, because there are so many people with such amazing stories inside of them, and they've been holding on to them for entirely too long. But now is the time to do it. So I'm here to help people do that. Even if you don't use my service, I don't care if you use my service. I want you to do it. Like, that's my whole thing. Don't let anybody hold you back from that. Don't let anything scare you from doing that. Just do it.
Right. That's right. I love that. Thank you.
Val, can you talk more on that though? Because I know you say often, like you mentioned, sometimes your story might be shared in a play. It may be a TV show. It might be a documentary. You talk about that all the time. Can you expound upon that topic?
I think as a society, sometimes we think that everything has to be in the form of a book. And I believe that not everything is a book, I believe that some things need to be made into a movie. Some things need to be a documentary. Some things need to be a play. Yes, we need books, but we need videos as well. So I just think that I think sometimes as people, we limit ourselves on all the possibilities that are out there for us to share our story. Because I agree totally with what you said. We have to share our stories. We all have something that we should share to encourage the next person. And I just feel like sometimes we're limited to, oh well, this person wrote a book. Oh well, now I want to write a book too. But is your story just a book, or could it be a little bit more than a book?
Mhm.
I agree with that. I think that a book is a less intimidating starting point to get people motivated and inspired to do more, because the process for anything that's worthwhile is difficult and scary.
Yes.
And
Yes.
once you get that book done, because it's not as bad as people think it is, then you're like, oh, I can do more than that. I can do something
Yeah.
else, And I
Yeah.
think that's just
Yeah.
a starting point. I don't think it's the end all be all at all.
Yeah.
Since you all are talking about this, I am making a game that's going with my books, and I am crazy
See?
excited to get this out. So
Okay.
that will be coming
Yes.
out soon, so that again we can further the conversation. I don't want it to stop with the book. That's why I have the glossary. That's why I have questions back there,
Yep.
and that's why I'm making the game, because we're going to further the conversation.
Yes. Much
Love
congrats.
it. Love it. Love it. That's exactly where I was going with that. So when you're not writing about Chelsea the Monster Slayer, what do you enjoy doing?
I am a workaholic, and I love hanging out with my kids and my husband, but I'm mostly working or feeding a baby. So that's,
Mhm.
Really being a mama. Yes. Yeah.
Feeding a baby, and that's a t-shirt.
Yes. Yes.
y'all saw me earlier. Yeah.
Somebody printed
That's
out, and that's a word.
So that's a t-shirt.
right. That's right. All of the above. Check. Yeah. So I'm coming down to my last two questions. And one of my questions is, how can our audience purchase Natalie the Monster Slayer?
Natalie the Monster
Do you have a
Slayer is
website?
available. It's on Amazon. I also have a website. It's bedtimememoriespubco.com. And it can be purchased on Amazon.
I'm gonna post this in the comment section too.
Okay. All right. And where can our audience and anyone who wants to buy a book, they can go to Amazon, they can go to your website. But are you on social media? If so, what platforms are you on?
I'm on Instagram. Like I said, I have a Facebook page, but I don't use that. But I'm on Instagram. So if you see it, you don't have to like it. It's okay.
What is your handle on Instagram?
bedtime_memories_publishing_co.
Okay.
Publishing Co. Yeah.
And we'll tag all of this information in the replay, especially since our viewers that can't watch right now but may watch later. So I'm going to go back and edit the captions to include all of these links as well.
Phil, did you have any more questions for our awesome guest tonight?
Chelsea, so in your book, Natalie the Monster Slayer, if you could pick one line from the book, one sentence or one page that really is a standout line or something that resonates with your spirit, which page or line would that be?
All right, I'm going to say it, and then I want y'all to repeat after me, okay?
Okay.
Okay. I can do it. I can do it. I am brave and strong.
I can do it.
I can do it. I can do it. I am brave
and strong.
So
that was my favorite line.
So we have mantras in my house because my child is so much like me, it scares me. And she doesn't like to lose, and neither does mommy. So we say mantras in our house, and we have mantra number 1 and mantra number 2 and mantra, and she knows them as what number they are. And so that is one of our mantras. And so when I'm writing my books, I'm reading them to, my husband and I both write books. So we read them to her and her sister, and we tweak them as as we're writing them, as we're reading them to her. And that one, like, she says that part every time I read it to her, and every time she says it, she'll say it a little different. So I'm like, okay, Natalie, what do you want it to say? So she gave me what she wanted it to say, and I'm like, that's perfect. So other kids can say that to themselves. I can do it. I can do it.
Right.
I'm brave and strong. So that's one of our mantras.
Love it. Yeah.
Girl, that's when I started to get the chills, the chilies. Seal over here got the chilies when you said that line, the I can do it, I can do it. I was like, again, because you can apply that and sprinkle it to just your life in general. No matter what your mountain is or your monster is in life, you can sprinkle that line for sure. One more question, Chelsea. Can you just give us a brief, just let us know about your company. Like you have a publishing company. Let us know about your company and the service that you offer authors.
Sure. So I'm really I provide self-publishing services because I want to make sure that anybody that wants to write a book gets whatever book they want out. I don't care if, I do care if it's mess. I'm not going to let you publish mess. But I want to make sure that if it's what you want, it's out there. So I provide self-publishing services. I've built a team of, amazing, amazing, amazing people. I have a wonderful illustrator that I work with who has an amazing team behind her. I have a great editor, and I pay, I pay the fees for certain services, just because I want to make sure that it's not so scary. So I provide those services. I give you whatever you want your book to look like. Of course, I make my recommendations, but whatever you want it to look like, I give that to you. And then I guide people through self-publishing through Amazon's KDP platform because it's the easiest, less intimidating, and it gets you that, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did it. Let's do it again. This wasn't that bad. I can do it again. So it's just a starting point for people. And that's what I do. So I don't take royalties. I don't care about any of that. I don't want it. Like, this is yours. You own it. You have it at the end. It's all yours. I help with the copyright process. It's all under their name. But that's what I do. I provide all those services that they need.
So
nice.
Work of feeding the baby and running, being the boss of her self-publishing company as well. So we got to add that to the shirt as well.
Yes.
Thank you, ladies.
Add those jewels to the crown. That's right.
I don't have any more questions, so you can do the last.
All right. Well, thank you so much again, Chelsea Elliott, for being our guest tonight on Storytime Chill with Val and Sil. We have been off for 2 weeks, but we are back, and it's so timely to come back with Natalie the Monster Slayer, who addresses her emotions, and the emotion is fear. In our current climate, in the times that we're living in now with the pandemic and everything else going on in the world, fear was probably one of the top number one things that we have had to deal with. So it's just perfect how God aligns that and how the timing is just amazing. One of the things that I said the other day, and I remember growing up as a child, now I'm telling how old I am, is that they would have these commercials on TV and they say reading is fundamental. And I thought about that the other day, and I said, you know what, reading is fundamental, but so is comprehension. And I love the fact that you talked about Natalie overcoming the fears, but not only that, understanding and what the emotions are that she's feeling. And so I think that's huge, and I want to commend you for that, because so many times, as we said before on the show, so many times we feel some type of way, but we don't know what that means. We don't know what it is. We don't understand it. So thank you so much for being on the show tonight. Thank you so much for helping us, adults and children, to think about the feelings that we feel, address those feelings, understand those feelings, and learn how to move forward with those feelings and emotions. So we just love the fact that you're here. We look forward to the other things that you have going on. We look forward to the publishing company growing huge. We look forward to you coming back again to tell us a little bit more about Natalie and what she's overcoming.
Yeah.
So Thanks again for being here. We look forward to just all the great things that are going to come your way. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. This is everything I've ever wanted. This is all I've ever wanted. I even forgot that y'all were promoting the book. Like, I just wanted to read it and talk about mental health. I'm not even kidding. I was like, oh yeah, where can they find it? Like, for real, this is everything I've ever wanted. Thank you all so much for this. Really.
Of course, and
You're welcome.
I don't know. Well, you'll be able to see the love once we in the live stream, but just some of the comments you have, just even from claps from our 2 weeks ago, Mr. Ray Young Jr. He's doing some amazing things as well. So definitely make sure you guys at home connect with Chelsea, connect with Ray Young Jr. Shauna speaks. Shauna is showing all types of love, quoting you. Come on, overcoming fear with the hands up. Can be afraid and brave at the same time. That courage. So there's so many people that have already shared your live stream and shared your post, and this usually over the days and weeks it just keeps coming. So this is of course just confirmation. You needed just another reminder that you're on track and doing exactly what you've been placed here to do. You and your husband, your family. It's beautiful. From the mantras to what I've learned, you guys. Throughout your day, you need to take pause. You have to take several pauses. Just pause and understand that some things are not personal to you, even though it feels like that it's happening to you. It's not personal to you. Everyone's experiencing life, but the way that, again, we react to it, the way that we need to start talking nicely to ourselves, yourself with grace. You've been through a lot. You've overcome a lot. You still have much to overcome ahead of you. Handle yourself with grace. Tackle one monster at a time. You got this. This is Black Girl Magic right here. You see that?
Yes. Right.
We were where you were scared. We were doubtful of ourselves. Like, can I really do this? We're starting to feel comfortable a little bit, saying, "Hey, I'm an author. I'm a speaker. I'm this. I'm that." So get comfortable in your destiny.
Yeah,
that's right.
What your conversations should sound like. If you're not having entangled with conversations that feed your spirit and grow your mind and start to reshape your perspective, it's a distraction.
Yeah.
Okay. So more of this in 2021 and beyond. Okay.
Just that divine connection, y'all.
That divine connection. This is my sister now. Okay. You can't break
I'm here for it.
Can't break it up.
That's right.
Yeah. So everybody make sure that you support. We got more. So Nikki Jones Kelly, another sister author. She was like our guest number 2 or something, like in season 1. Love Nikki. And so she said, I can't wait to check out your book. She also has her book is named after Willow Wonders. And it's hold on. Willow Wonders, quick plug. That's Nikki Jones Kelly's book. And so she's an amazing person. And then Shauna, again, just wanted to let you know, Chelsea, she said, you're amazing. Thank you for sharing your journey and your nuggets with us. So again, Chelsea, just thank you. Don't let this be the last time. We'll have to have some check-ins, whether it's Clubhouse, whether it's Instagram or something. We just look forward to being a part of your journey. And thank you. Thank you to our viewers at home. We love y'all. Val, we're back next week, right?
We're back next week.
Right. Okay. So y'all don't have to wait that long. Everyone have a great night. Look forward to seeing those links populate to where you can support Chelsea Elliott in her book, and just tackle your monsters this week. You got this. You got
that fear.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Bye. Bye. Bye.